What these 38 people saw in Papua New Guinea will leave you speechless. On June 26, 1959, above the skies in Papua New Guinea became the stage for one of the most compelling UFO sightings in history. Over the course of 2 nights, Father William Booth Gill, along with 37 other witnesses, observed a series of unexplained phenomena that would challenge their understanding of reality. At 8:45 p.m., Father Gill sighted a bright white light on the northwestern horizon. As the light approached, it revealed itself as a disc-shaped object with a wide base and a smaller dome-like structure on top, like the typical drawings that we see of saucers today. But here is where this sighting is a little bit different from others. Not only did it take place over 2 nights, but Father Gill took meticulous notes as the events unfolded. Let's take a listen from him what happened.
Can you imagine what it's like to look up in the sky and see a totally foreign-looking object just hovering, not very far high up, maybe 200 or 300 feet up in the air, and bipods jutting out from behind it, from underneath it, and sparkling all around this solid-looking object, figures walking about on top. And so we waved. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could get this object down on the playing field? And as we waved, wondering whether we'd get some recognition and whether perhaps they would understand what we wanted, they waved back. So I asked the boy to go quickly down, bring me torch, bring me pencil, bring me paper, and this he did very, very quickly. He brought it back. He brought the torch and put the torch on and shone it to the craft. He waved moved the torch this way, and we were dumbfounded when we looked at the craft, and the craft was as though it was responding to the torch. It began to do this too, like a disc-shaped object just moving the same way, responding to the movement of the torch.
The sighting continued into the next evening, June 27th, when a nurse at a local hospital first spotted a large UFO at 6 p.m. Throughout the night, Father Gill and other witnesses observed this craft.
Next day, just prior to the evening service, about 7 o'clock, the thing was there again. It had arrived about an hour earlier, and we all decided to have the normal evensong that we do have on those nights, because, well, the thing was out there outside the church anyway, and we thought it wouldn't go away during the service, and it didn't. When we came out, there it was, still up in the sky. And so for another hour or two, we watched. And then suddenly it did go. And there was this amazingly incredible speed that the whole craft disappeared to nothing across the bay in a matter of a second or so.
Father Gill documented all of this in an 11-page single-spaced report, which was signed by 25 of the 37 witnesses. This detailed documentation, combined with the number and credibility of the witnesses, makes the Father Gill case one of the most compelling UFO cases in history. And a lot of people took notice, some to credit him and others to discredit him. Let's bring in Dr. J. Allen Hynek. The renowned UFO researcher devoted significant attention to the Papua New Guinea sighting in his book, The UFO Experience. Hynek acknowledged that the Father Gill case brought to light the most controversial and seemingly implausible aspects of the UFO phenomenon, which was close encounters of the third kind. And I'm not referring to the movie, but Close Encounters of the Third Kind is where witnesses report interactions with animated beings. And he deliberately used the term animated to leave open the possibility of robotic or non-biological entities, referred to variously as occupants, humanoid, UFO nauts, or UFO sapiens. One of the biggest things that he brought up in his book is this level of fear that these beings were able to breathe our air and to adapt to our gravity with ease. And Hynek's perspective on UFOs evolved over time. In his book, he revealed that of the thousands of reports received by Project Blue Book, only 48 involved UFO landings, and a mere 12 included humanoid sightings. These contrasted with 223 humanoid cases reported globally from various sources during that same period. And Hynek criticized Project Blue Book's tendency to classify classify the majority of these cases as insufficient data, a designation he saw as a convenient way to avoid thorough investigations into these extraordinary encounters. Notably, Hynek actually interviewed Father Gill 15 years later, and he said that this man was a very credible man. This shift in Hynek's approach from his earlier explanations of mass hallucinations and misidentifications while working for Blue Book to his later more open-minded stance underscores the compelling nature of cases such as Father Gill's. But the Father Gill case was not an isolated incident. According to Dr. Hynek's research, in the summer of 1959, they saw a wave of UFO sightings across the Pacific region during that same time period. So on July 11th, 1959, just 2 weeks after the Gill sighting, a Pan Am Airways crew encountered a strange craft about 900 miles southeast of Hawaii, and they observed a primary object accompanied by smaller satellite objects, all capable of making sharp turns. This encounter was so close that the crew feared a collision. Interestingly, while the Air Force privately informed interested congressmen that the crew had merely seen a meteor, this explanation fails to account for the object's reported maneuvers. Then, 2 days later, on July 13th, 1959, a farm woman in Blenheim, New Zealand, reported seeing a dome disk descend and hover near her property. Her description was remarkably detailed. The object was approximately 35 feet in diameter, featuring 2 intense green lights and 2 rows of jets around its rim, and emitted an orange flame. More strikingly, she claimed to have seen 2 humanoids in these silver-type suits inside the clear dome atop the craft. Very similar to Gill's sighting. The object reportedly took off rapidly, accompanied by a high-pitched sound and radiating heat. Then the following day, July 14th, brought yet another UFO sighting. This time from Australia's Prince of Wales Island. A group of hunters reported seeing a red object land on the island, with other hunters in the vicinity claimed to have seen a similar object. These corroborated sightings only add credence to Gill's account, suggesting a pattern of UFO activity in the Pacific region during the same time. But now we're getting into the government conclusions on the sighting. This case was looked over by the British authorities, and Dr. Hynek actually didn't know about the case until he visited the British Air Ministry back in 1961. And he found that the British military stance was very similar to Project Blue Book when investigating UFOs. So we already know where this is going to go. They were very dismissive to Gill's case, and they appeared almost relieved to hand over the report to Dr. Hynek, treating it more as an inconvenience than a serious matter to investigate. The official statement classified these sightings as, quote,
aerial phenomena, but most probably they were reflections of a cloud of major light source of unknown origin.
Which is a really vague explanation, and it fails to actually look at Gill's documentation along with the other witnesses that encountered it as well. And of course, critics have attempted to debunk the case. Most notably, Dr. Donald Menzel of Harvard, self-styled the arch enemy of UFOs. In his analysis, Menzel dismissed the entire case as a misidentification of, take a guess, it was Venus. And he was hypothesizing that Reverend Gill wasn't even wearing his glasses. However, this explanation falls short on several accounts. The UFO was at times seen under cloud cover. Venus was separately identified by Mr. Gill, smart man, and he was wearing his glasses during the sighting. And in the years following the incident, Father Gill became a reluctant celebrity in UFO circles, sharing his extraordinary experiences through numerous interviews, lectures, and documentaries, sticking to his side of the story despite scrutiny and skepticism. So what do you believe happened? Let me know in the comments below, hit that like button, and while you're down there, subscribe as I do several shows right here every single week. If you want to read more bite-sized content, you can find the articles for all of the shows right on my website or on Medium at Cristina Gomez. There is no H in Cristina, or you can find those links in the description description box below. That is it for today. I will see you next time. Be safe, and remember, keep your eyes on the skies.
If you enjoy the strange and the mysterious, UFOs, the paranormal, and cryptids, this channel is for you. So make sure to subscribe as I do 3 videos right here every single week, and hit that notification bell so you do not miss any of the bonus content I post right here.